Good afternoon, everybody. It's Miss Betty, and today on Fawn Ridge, I am going to cook something that a lot of people may not be too fond of. Actually, I love liver, but I never like to touch it, and you may have heard me say this before. But today I'm going to cook some beef baby liver, and after I rinse this liver, I am going to soak it in some milk for about an hour before I fry it in some onion and some pepper. It's going to be great. So you stay tuned because if you love beef liver, then get you some. But first of all, I hope that you're having a great day because I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be blessed. I want you to be a blessing as you go. And I would like that you replace negative with positive. So, let's cook this beef liver. First, I just need to rinse it off. Soak it in milk for about an hour, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how I'm going to saute my onions and fry my liver. It's going to be good. All right, everybody, so I am back, and I'm going to go ahead and get my liver seasoned. I have soaked it in the milk. And the purpose of soaking your liver in the milk is to take out some of the bitterness so that your liver is not bitter. So we'll go ahead and we'll get that taken apart here so we can get it seasoned. All right. I have like 4 pieces here. Liver is not the prettiest thing to work with, so I do have on my gloves. I don't like touching it. It's amazing how you can like something and not want to touch it. Oh my God. But I am going to do it because I used to trick my sister into cooking my liver for me, and then she up and moved to Arizona. So now if I want liver, I got to kind of do it myself, you know. And it's not that bad, but I still don't want to touch it. That is hilarious. All right, so we have it all soaked in the milk here. I only have 4 pieces because that is enough. Probably more than I can tolerate. Okay, so let's dump that milk out of there. Let's take this glove off. How many of you like liver? Talk to me. Is it not one of your favorite things to do? All right, so I'm going to season my liver, and I'm going to just do it a little lightly. So I'm going to use some Lawry seasoning. You already know that I use that on almost everything. So, and I'm only going to season my meat on the one side, okay? So let's just go ahead and get this seasoned up. Yuck. I don't know how I can like liver. Oh. All right, then we're going to use some some onion powder. It's funny to me. Okay. Of course, you always want to use your black pepper. Oh, and I'm going to use my kosher salt. I can go ahead and put all this salt on here because I'm only seasoning one side, so that's what I'm going to need. Let's go ahead and use our Slap Your Mama because it will always take away a taste of something that you might not really like. Okay. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever used the Sasson Goya seasoning. I've just recently been introduced to this, and I kind of like it, so I'm trying to learn in what recipes to use it in. So there's a Facebook, YouTube person that I follow, and she uses this a lot. And of course, I always say that we can always learn from each other. So this is what she used on her liver. I'm going to try it today. And she suggests that you only just use half of the package and then put the other half in your gravy. So let's just go ahead and do that. It is a Puerto Rican seasoning, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead on, and I got my flour ready. I'm going to dredge my liver into my flour. I'm going to go ahead and add some seasoning to my flour. Because I think the only way I can really tolerate liver is that it has to be fully seasoned, in my opinion. Okay? So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to brown this on both sides. You want it to look like this. When you're ready to put it in your skillet, okay? Let's put that to the side. Yuck. If you let it stay in the liquid for too long, then your liver tends to fall apart. So you want to make sure you get enough flour on there so that when you cook the liver, it don't fall completely apart. Okay? Let's just go ahead and get all 4 pieces done, and then we'll go over to the skillet, okay? And then you can see what my next step would be. Yuck. If I tell you I don't like to touch liver, you can trust me on that. How can you like something that you don't want to touch? That's so funny to me. But once it gets done, you forget all about that you didn't want to touch that, okay? All right, so I'm going to go over to the skillet, and I'll come back and let you see what I'm doing over there, okay? All right, now my oil should be already hot enough, so when I drop this in, I'm going to brown it nice and crispy on both sides. After that, I will do my onions and my peppers. So you want to put about this much oil. You don't want to flood it. You just want it to be enough so that you can fry it. So, you hear that sound? When you put your liver in, then you know that your oil is hot enough. Okay. If it don't make that sound and you start to add your meat, then take it out, because that means that your oil is not hot enough. Okay. This piece is a little bigger, so let's hold on to that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get that brown. Then on both sides, I'll come back and I'll show you, exactly what it looks like. And then we'll go ahead and we'll make our onions, our peppers, and our gravy. All right, so I have my liver all nice and brown, and this is how you want it to look. Nice and crispy. But I'm going to go ahead now, turn my fire down low, and I'm going to start to add my onions. Okay? I have onions and green peppers, and I'll slice my onions and peppers in rings. We're just going to put some in here. We're going to save the rest for when we add the liver, and we'll put it on top, okay? I'm also going to add a teaspoon of butter. Okay? All right, so we all have our own ways of making things, so I always like to tell you, take your dish and make it your own. So with my pepper and my onions, normally once they saute, I would make my own gravy, but if you go to the grocery store, always pick you up some packages of gravy and keep them in your house. I buy these in brown gravy, pork gravy, chicken gravy. That way I always have some ready gravy mix. All you have to do is add this to 2 cups of cold water, stir it in until it mixes well, and that's going to be our gravy for our liver. So let's go ahead on and saute our onions for just a little bit, and I tell you, this liver looks wonderful. Look at that. It's ready to go in the gravy. So here's my gravy mix with 2 cups of water. Cold water, that's all you have to do. Pour it in. If you want to add more seasonings to it, I normally do. I'll go ahead and I'll add me some gravy mix. Sometimes I'll add a beef bouillon cube. But the gravy master is one thing that I always like to add to my gravy. because it gives it a wonderful color. But let's see what we're working with, okay? We'll get this to come to a boil. And then we'll go ahead and we'll add our liver. So let me bring this to a boil and we'll be right back. You can have your liver and onions. You can serve it with rice, but today I'm gonna do mashed potatoes and corn and some biscuits because that sounds like a nice warm southern meal for today. This is Miss Betty and I am cooking on Fawn Ridge. All right, so my gravy is now coming to a boil. Let's go ahead and add our liver to that. And then we'll let it just kind of like saute, just steam very slightly. Oh, that looks wonderful, wonderful. This is going to be delectable. Okay. We'll put a cover on this. We'll add the rest of our onions. Doesn't that look wonderful? So always save some onions for on top because then we're going to dering them. That's going to look pretty. Liver and onions require a lot of onions, especially, you know, if you don't really like liver. But I do like liver. I just don't want to touch it. And that's the part that is hilarious to me. So let's go ahead and let this finish. And while that is finishing, I'll go ahead and make my mashed potatoes and my corn. I'll come back and I'll show you what this delectable meal looked like because this liver and onion is going to be wonderful. This is Miss Betty. As always, I'm cooking on Fawn Ridge. All right, I just want to give you a sneak peek of how the gravy and the liver is coming. Oh my God, look at this. This is marvelous. Oh my, if you are a real liver and onion lover, you will like this. I'm gonna have to get my camera and give you a closer look. And then I'll dish it up on my mashed potatoes and I'll show you how it looks with the mashed potatoes and the corn. Hold on, let me give you a better look. Doesn't that look wonderful? Oh, that is just going to be so good. I can hardly wait. So, again, if you like liver, then go ahead and make you some liver and onion. Don't forget to soak it in milk because that will remove the bitterness from your liver. All right? I'll be right back. Hundreds of energy companies around the world, including some here in the United States between 2012 and 2018. The fourth person was someone working for the Russian Ministry of Defense, a research institute. They were helping with a hack in Saudi Arabia.